for Flabonga, Monthrothacube. With Dale and Tony breaking all the rules. Talking tech, biz, and straight up chaos. Quick fire guests, oh yeah, we slay those.
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Rodriguez, and this is a Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got my awesome co-host,
Tony Stevenson.
And we've got our fantastic guest,
Martin Dean.
Martin. Thank you for being here.
It's great. Great fun. Thanks for having us.
You're one of the rarer guests, in so much as you were referred/stitched up by other people who've been on the show. Doesn't happen often, but you were literally like, Martin needs to come on the show because Mike and Sam from Gravitate said Martin should come on the show. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah.
We'll start with the easy questions. We got your name, Martin. What do you do, and why do you do it?
Okay, good question. So I'm the corporate finance director at Gravitate. So I won't go into Gravitate, what Gravitate do, because I know Sam and Mike might have done that previously. But we're a set of accountants. Been going relatively, we're relatively young, about 6 years. But what I do is I've come in, I'm a qualified accountant, but I focus on mergers and acquisitions. So helping business owners with their sort of succession planning, growth plans. So I'm not really an accountant anymore. I've got the qualification, but a lot of what I do now isn't anything to do with your traditional accountancy advice. So yeah, I've come in to Gravitate 2 years ago to sort of build out that service line and help clients, with their wider needs, really.
Cool. You referred to yourselves as a set of accountants, which made my mind think, what would a group of accountants be called? For example, if a shiver of sharks, a school of fish, a herd of cows, what would be, or a gaggle of geese? Do you think
An
the
embarrassment
term,
of pandas.
is it an embarrassment of pandas? That's what it was called.
It certainly says that in the David Williams book that my daughter has. Yeah.
A crash of rhinos. So what do you think, Martin, a group term for accountants would be?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I'm trying. I suppose I'm here as well to try and get over that stereotypical accountants are boring, right? So I don't know. I'd like to think at Gravitate we're a set of non-robots. I don't know what the anti-word for non-robots is, but we're not robotic in nature, which I think has always been a bit of a stigma in the accountancy space. So a rubbish answer, but that's where I'm going with it.
To be fair, it's a ridiculous question. So
I've looked it up. So it says, what is a group of accountants called? So there's a couple of conflicting answers from the traditional internet rather than an LLM, but it basically says there isn't one. And then the next one says a group of accountants is commonly called an argument. So I don't know if someone was taking a mic, but it feels appropriate.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's interesting.
A consortium of accountants? That sounds good. A consortium.
I like it.
Martin, if you were a biscuit, what kind of biscuit would you be that accurately portrays your personality and why, but don't just pick your favorite biscuit?
The favorite one, yeah, that's what I was going to straight away there. What's my favorite? What would it be?
You can, but you've got to justify it with a reason, not just I like it. You don't
probably.
It's the game.
Probably a custard cream. I do like it anyway, but I think it's quite simple, but you get a lot of value out of it. I don't know if that's the way to do it, but I would say that. Like the layers, you can pick a bit off, you can look at it, and eat it in different ways, maybe. So I'd like to think that's what I would describe myself as when I'm talking to clients as well, maybe.
That's a glorious answer. Thank you for humouring me. Tony, I've monopolised questions so far, please. So you can get more clips. AI, clip up Tony. Questions, good sir.
Oh, I was quite enjoying just sitting back, and I like the format of Dale tends to kind of lead off and piles in with the early questions, and he gives me a little bit of time to gather my thoughts. But
no, not today.
Not today. No. So how did you get into the corporate finance deal making space, Martin? What led you down that road?
Yeah. So trying not to be as boring as possible. So I trained as an accountant. A local firm in Sheffield, was getting to the point where because I quite like working with clients and their day-to-day, really understanding their businesses, etc. And there was a secondment place, so an opportunity came along to sort of move sideways, if you like, into the corporate finance space. And I looked at my skill set, I looked at what was required and thought, you know what, you have to be a people person, you have to be good at project managing, and you just sort of cross relate to what you're good at, I suppose. And yeah, a lot of transferable skills, and that's how I got into it. And that was 10 plus years ago now, so it feels like a long time. I've got more grey hairs now than I did then. But
I trained, I trained in the Big Four environment, and obviously there was a clutch of folks in the office that I worked in that were M&A, particularly on the tax side, but just generally within the profession. It always seemed that in a room full of people that worked hard and did long hours, that they seemed to work harder and do longer hours. When there was a deal on, it seemed that there was quite a peak and a trough maybe in the service. Was that your experience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. Yeah, I think you've got to be ready for that. I think that I quite like that. I don't want to be working silly hours in the evening and in the morning, but I like the fact, what I like is making sure that doesn't happen. So getting all the solicitors lined up, getting the lenders, getting everyone there, and basically saying to everyone, we don't want to be working on this at 12 o'clock at night. Let's do X, Y, and Z to get it there. So a lot of my job is project management. A lot of the time, it's, it really is. So I see that as a good challenge. And yeah, it's just that, the phone call that you get generally from the solicitors to say, just to confirm the chat, it's just a nice feeling. It's a lot of hard work goes into particularly, sell or buy side mandates. And yeah, when you get that call, it's a bit of a Wolf of Wall Street, moment, really. I don't have champagne or a guest of people behind me. It's normally a can of Pepsi out of the beer fridge. But yeah, I do something, or try to.
Nice. Yeah, it's always been, it wasn't an area that I ever kind of got involved with, but it's always kind of fascinated me how it all sort of fits together. I'm sure it's a extremely interesting part of the accountancy world to operate in, right? Because you get to see right inside folks' businesses from the ground up, right?
I think it's more and more important to do that as well. I think that's what clients expect now, in terms of really understanding their business and thinking. My first conversation to a lot of clients is, well, what's your exit? And a lot of them don't have the answer. They don't know. Is your business a lifestyle business? Are you looking to grow it? Succession? So I think what we try and do wider, and I think what a lot of advisors should be doing is, yes, you don't have to be an expert in corporate finance, but having those conversations with clients about what their 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan is, and shaping something around that, rather than this is your next year, or this is a tax relief. Or think longer, think wider, think about their personal situation, really grab it all together to try and help them. So I don't advise on everything, but that's the way I look at things generally.
That sounds like a really good idea, because 4-time guest and friend of the show, James Sundin, is famously quoted as saying his exit strategy is death, which is probably like amusing, but probably not for everyone, right? There's probably steps in that game around maybe getting their business into the hands of somebody else in the right way. Yeah, but if you're not thinking about that, because Cody Sanchez, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and for those of you that listening that aren't, is a US-based former banker that buys boring businesses, right? She's famous for the boring business buying, and she quotes some wild stats about kind of like the boomer generation is coming to retirement, and there are just millions of businesses that they've run that they don't want to run anymore, that no one's there to take over. And I'm sure it's probably the same over here, right? Yeah. And they've not given much thought to what they were going to do when they wanted to retire and there was no one else to take the business on.
Yeah, and again, I would put that down to, like say, poor succession planning, poor not thinking about the next gen, not stepping back, not taking a risk as well. Getting somebody in, start to put yourself in a position where you can retire. Yeah. I don't think a lot of businesses and business owners do that, and I don't really know what causes it. Maybe it's control, maybe it's profitability, wanting to extract. That's where it goes back to. Just look at well, do you want a lifestyle business? Do you want to extract everything out of this to get your best life possible? Or actually, is this something that you can get to a certain level and really sort of step away with a team that's sort of building behind you? So, yeah, you just got to look at it. I think a lot of people, and it's normal, right? We're all busy. I'm a business partner. My partner is. You don't have time to think a lot of the time, do you? Yeah, so when I speak to clients, often they know the answer. They know they should do it. It's just someone else in front of them taking the time and them taking the time as well to actually reflect and think longer term about stuff. So yeah, I'm not inventing anything new. I don't think it's just making people stop and pause, I think.
Yeah, the advice I was given when starting a business is, even if you're planning to have a legacy business, you should still have an exit strategy, because it gives you the focus to actually grow the business to a certain size. Like, have a number in mind that if you did want to sell, you might not want to, then you can actually work to that target. Even if you're planning to, have it for 30, 40 years, hand it over to your kids, have an exit strategy, even if it's not your strategy. If that makes sense.
But don't let it run your life, right? Have other things in the background. Don't get to that point, because I see a lot of business owners.
They just
fall off the edge. Yeah, they fall off the edge of the cliff because they don't got no hobbies, they've got no interest, they lose the purpose, and I think that's part of the problem when your business becomes your sole purpose. I think you've got to have separate purposes and really sort of align those two processes. I think.
So
otherwise,
question for you, Martin. What is your separate purpose outside of Gravitate? What do you do for fun? How do you unwind? What do you relax?
Yeah, I mean, I've got too many hobbies. I like snowboarding. I've made the mistake of going on 3 trips already this year, and that was a mistake.
We're only like 4 months into the year, bro.
Yeah. I know.
One a month.
A limited season. It's a limited season right there.
Mate, accounting pays well.
Your mate does.
I know, right?
I sat down with me and Sam, who's one of the founders. We sit down and we have a strategic review, and we're like, right, let's look at the pipeline for March. Nothing, hardly anything there. I'm like, well, I've been away, and so I'm not doing it again, basically. Yeah, we learn from that mistake. We learn from that mistake. But yeah, that's a hobby. I like to snowboard. Again, a bit unusual for maybe accountants. But yeah, my kids. I've got two kids. Yeah,
2 kids.
8 and 10. So one of the trips was with my son as well. So it's his first sort of skiing trip, and yeah, he's you just see their eyes open and like, yeah. So they're the hobbies really. It's trying to obviously I wish I had more time outside of work, but I'm enjoying growing what we're doing at the minute as well. So
2 kids. Which one's your favorite?
Ooh, you know what? It's changed. I'm going to be honest. I'm not. Yeah, it used to be. I'm really bad because if my daughter ever watches this, she's going to be. But it used to be my daughter, and then it switched to my son. I think because he's just getting to that age now where he's doing loads of things. Like he wants to play rugby, he wants to go skiing, he wants. So I've just got that bond with him because he wants to do all the same things.
Which one's older? Is your daughter the first born?
Yeah, daughter's older. Yeah. Oh, so she's just locking herself in the room and. Yeah, she's just at that age now. So yeah.
Yes, Martin, you're right. AI, clip this bit up for sure. That's going to get blasted on the internet. Sorry, Martin. Not sorry. So okay, you mentioned hobbies. So snowboarding, kids. Are you a bit of a foodie? Because me and Tony, we're both grill guys. We like barbecuing. We'll be cooking food on the barbecue any time of year. Are you into that or anything?
Yeah, I do like good food. Like say when I go away, I love trying new things. I'm not scared of trying new foods. I haven't got anything particular, but I do. I don't know if it's just because of my upbringing. Like if I had to say what my favorite dessert was, it's a trifle. I just love a trifle. I don't know why. Like they're
banging. They're banging. They're a top tier dessert.
Underrated. Yeah.
Can I recommend one? The M&S one, which has got that sort of like raspberry like compote thing, and that is that. Like I take and leave a trifle. Like my wife's family love trifle. My wife's mum used to make a good one, doesn't do it very often now, but they buy this M&S one, and I would thoroughly recommend going and sourcing it because it's pretty good.
So just jumping in the comments, Debbie Hales, longtime friend of the show, she's awesome. She says just wait till she hits teenage.
Prolific commenter as well.
She's great. Debbie asked the best question. So she's a lady that's exited her business. She worked in asbestos for like 25 years, top tier business lady, and exited a little while ago, and I think enjoying her best life.
Nice. Yeah. Well done, Debbie.
But she also asked great questions to guests. So Debbie, please ask Martin the most technical accounting questions you could ever think of, because he just admitted to being the best accountant. That's not what he did. Sorry. All right. Martin, would you like a serious question related to work or a daft question next?
Don't mind. You choose. I'm happy either way.
What is EBITDA and why do accountants love it so much?
Well, yeah, it's commonly referred to in what I do as well. So EBITDA is profit before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. Yeah, what is it? It depends what you read, right? Warren Buffett, he's famous for completely not wanting to look at EBITDA. But it's key for what I do, because often it's the starting point for a lot of benchmarking in terms of valuations. So that's the main number. Maintainable EBITDA is often, for normal businesses, that's what you use. So it's quite important, but I think people can get lost in it. It's the profitability that's sort of operating profit, taking out the accounting adjustments. But I always look at it and think, well, if you're a high capex business, you're going to need to factor in some element of depreciation or capex requirements. So it comes up in my line of work all the time, EBITDA, but I think there's so many other layers that you need to look at. You really need to understand the business, whether that's the right metric to use for your type of business, because it's not always the case.
I've got 2 questions. Well, one's going to be, we're jumping into the comments in a minute, so let me ask my 2 questions. You said it might not be the right metric. What are the other metrics one could use to value
so cash flow from operations? So CAFADs, that's normally a key one. A lot of investors will want to look at that.
So say that one again. CAFADs.
Yeah. So that's looking at where does your profit convert into cash? What's the difference between? So if you're a growing business and if you've got a lot of sort of debtors stock, a lot of that profit won't convert into cash because it's tied up there for whatever reason, especially if you're growing, for example.
You're telling me I'm doing well, but there's no money in the bank.
Yes, exactly. And cash is king, right? It always is. Yep. So, Mark, I love trying to talk to clients about the difference between the two. They're equally as important. But, if you've got a very simple business, your profit should convert to cash, but it doesn't always. It's a timing difference often because of what you're doing on your balance sheet. So that's a really key metric, especially with lenders as well. Banks will often look at CAFADs as well. So I would say that's another key metric.
And my second technical question, and then we'll jump into a question that Debbie has asked. You said depreciation and amortization. Are you able to give a very layman's terms explanation of what those are?
It's the accounting estimate cost of when you buy an asset, right? So if you buy a piece of kit for 100 grand, well, what's the cost of that? It's physically cost you 100 grand, but you're going to use that over a period of time. So what would be the cost of that if you had to spread it? And that's essentially what it is. So yeah, that's it. That's how I would simply describe it.
Thank you for explaining. FM, we make jokes, but you also learn. You're welcome. All right. So Debbie, we're going to jump into the comments real quick. First of all, she says, no sponge and trifle. Debbie, love you, but you're wrong. Jog on.
I disagree there. Yeah,
you're mistaken, Deborah.
Swiss roll.
In fact, I'm going to say Deborah. Deborah, you're mistaken. I know. Mehul wants to come on the show. Mehul, you're welcome, dude. You can come on. I'll send you the link in the DMs. We'll have you on. I think we're booked up until August because we're just that awesome. I know. Humility. It's terrible. It hurts. And then back to actual Debbie's question. Martin, what rugby team do you support?
Oh, you know what? I can't confess to be a big rugby fan. I do like it. I like the Six Nations. I get involved, but I'm from Stoke-on-Trent originally, and I didn't even know what rugby was until I was about 20, because all we did in Stoke was play football. So I've played football. I've been brought up with football, but I mean, I look at my body shape now, in particular, and everyone says, "Oh, have you played rugby before?" No. So maybe I've missed the boat there, but my son loves it. He plays for a local team in Sheffield, but he's got a Toulouse top, so I managed to sort of go to Toulouse, and I got him a Toulouse t-shirt, which he loves. So yeah, I wouldn't say we're avid supporters, but I love watching Six Nations and England in particular, obviously. And yeah, I was there in France watching England get beat by France, which was quite an experience.
That was painful.
Yeah.
That was painful. That would deserve to win that game.
Kirsty St. John, thank you for joining us again. Another friend of the show. She's been on. She's great. Amazing bookkeeper. And then Debbie Hales. Ooh, I got a Deborah. This is the only one I haven't tidied my bedroom. Cool. Tony.
Yes.
Martin's got to jump off sooner rather than later. So can we do some quick fire, maybe coffee? All that
Let's do the quick fire. Let's mix it up.
Quick fire?
Because we always do the quick fire at the end. And so just to give you some context, Martin, if you're game, I'm about to ask you 10 quick fire questions, which you can give us a short answer to. Dale has to mute himself because he can't not pull on the threads. But then we usually do it right at the end of the show. So actually we do a bit earlier. Dale can pull on some of the threads.
Okay.
Let me just fire up my questions. Right. First question. I'm going to do them in a random order today because I normally do them in the same-ish order. First question. Your favorite podcast?
I've got quite a few actually. I can't decide. Obviously, this one first and foremost.
Obviously, present company accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. That's my first answer. First and final answer. It's this
There
one.
we go. Second question. What is your best ever 1 in a million trick shot? Think like hole in one, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't get it though. So I nearly got a 180 once in darts. It was literally like that, but I didn't get it. So I don't know if that counts, but that's my answer.
We kind of like the heartbreak stories on this stuff as well.
Yeah,
so like, we'll take that. We'll take that.
You know, when it's in and you think
Yeah.
it's in, and I
Bounce.
didn't have my glasses on, and then I went to it and it wasn't. So yeah, it's quite
God.
heartbreaking. Yeah.
Bit like when I think the golf ball has gone in a hole and actually it's just gone in a ditch 40 yards past the hole. Same. Who is your celebrity lookalike?
I don't think I've got one. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, I definitely haven't got one. I don't know. No, I'm going to fire it back to you. Who do I look like?
I don't know. Actually, like, there's no one that jumps out. If I'm
I have
honest,
one.
Dale's got one. Go on.
I think Taskmaster season 1 or 2, you look a bit like the comedian / poet Tim Key.
Oh, okay.
Is that his name? Let me Google it real quick. Hold on.
Okay, you Google and I'll carry on.
Yeah, Tim Key.
Most used AI tool.
Ooh, at the minute we're using Claude AI for Excel, so it's made by Anthropics. It's super powerful, so definitely a useful thing for people to start using. If you like spreadsheets and you want into tool to help you on it, then that's one to start to think about.
Feels like it's top of the pops for a lot of people at the moment, Claude. Right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
What is one skill that you wish you had but you don't?
Oh, it's going to be a boring one again. I wish I knew every single sort of Excel formula ever, so I could just I just know the answers to everything and know what to do and how to structure stuff. So yeah.
Nice. Favorite country that you've ever visited?
New Zealand, by far.
Did you go to Fergburger in Queenstown?
Yes, I did.
What
my
an
friend,
experience.
My friend, I shouldn't say this, but my friend worked there and I got it for free as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So
must be a very good burger. That went a long way for the hype, and it was good. It was right up there.
Yeah, I'd go back. I'd definitely go back in a heartbeat.
Most hated grammatical error or mispronounced word.
Oh, just like use of commas in the wrong places. It really sort of annoys me. Yeah, you know, when it's needed, when it's not needed. So yeah, AI tools that can help with that. They're really good.
A gift to the world, aren't they? One of my I've got a ton of these. This one lights people up when we ask this question. The one I like really grinds my gears is when people use quote marks around a word that it doesn't need quote marks around. And that really grinds my gears. That does. They use it as like an emphasis tool when it shouldn't be an emphasis tool.
And I must admit, I do it sometimes, but with brackets instead, which is, I don't know if that's worse or not, but it's, I need to get out of the habit. But I do, the commas thing really sort of, irks me sometimes.
What is the book that you have recommended the most often?
You know what? I don't read a lot of books anymore. I think I listen to a lot of stuff. I think the 80-20, I can't remember the name of the book now, the 80-20% rule, sort of how to deal with the 80% of the stuff that stresses you out and focus on the 20. I can't remember the actual name of it, but that was a good sort of audio book that I listened to recently. But I haven't got a physical books now. I don't know if that's a sign of the times or maybe I should,
Pareto's law. And final question, who else would you like to see us have on the show?
Ooh.
You can unmute now, Dale.
I think it would be good to get someone from, and I'm going to link this accountancy, someone from the ACCA or ACA talking about the future of accountants and advisory. I think that would be quite interesting.
We should get Ian Pay on.
Okay.
He's the head of data analytics, I want to say, at the ICAW.
Get him. That'd be good to see what they think the future holds.
Ian, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show. Thank you very much, Martin. Quick fire questions are over for today.
Nailed it. There's one important thing we need to cover, Martin. You mentioned this in the green room. I say the green room before we went live. We don't have a green room yet. Maybe we will in the future. Anyway, when Sam and Mike were on the show, I asked them an insidious question, knowing full well it would cause strife and chaos. I asked them, who do you think would win in a fight? And because they're accountants, right? They didn't just answer. They had to specify which martial art it would be. Like, is it boxing, MMA? I was like, stop being accountants, just answer that question. Anyway, I would love for you to weigh in on this. Like, are you smashing them both, or is your money on Sam? And if so, why?
Yeah, I think with my role, I'm often in the middle. Think about what I'm good at. I'm the one that's sort of making sure everyone's still sort of friendly. So I don't know if I'd get involved. Obviously, I'd win if I did, but
obviously,
I don't think that's my role. But yeah, it was funny. It came back. It's been a topic of conversation. It's carried on. Sam in particular was seriously mapping it out. How do we get this?
This grew legs.
This was going to happen. Like,
you could make it a charity event, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I still think it could happen, genuinely. So, I thought, well, I'll give you my impartial take on. Yeah, exactly. And maybe you should to go on. You can join. Do it. Yeah.
I just had a crazy idea, Tony. We could have an FM charity boxing match, right? We have all the guests that have come on who want to give it a go, and just I don't know, or MMA or something that's less intense.
Jiu-jitsu.
I don't know. Basically, all I know is I don't want to square up against Tony because he's hench. Like, my ass.
No, but I think coming back to it, who would win? Just to answer the question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go with Mike. I just think he's got a bit of a rougher background. I think it'll get nasty and he'll thrive in it, really. So I think that's my take on it.
Oh, fantastic. Can we send that to your marketing team because they go round?
Yeah.
Something that I really like about Martin is that he doesn't shy away from giving an opinion on difficult questions. So when you asked him the question of which is your favourite child, which normally people go, I can't pick one, that thought never seemed to enter his head.
He was like, it's changed.
It's changed. I've given this quite a bit of thought. Yeah.
You've got to build trust. You've got to be honest. Yeah, I think that's true. You've got to be honest.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay. Let's go for a couple silly ones. I'm going to do the meat one. If you could do the coffee one, and then we'll see where we get from that. Yeah. Martin, I assume you consume animal products. You're not a vegan, are you?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. If you could eat one animal for the rest of your life, forsaking all others, what animal/meat are you choosing? So if you choose beef, you're never having sausages again. Ooh. If you choose pork, you're never having spaghetti bolognese again. If you choose chicken, you're never having, salmon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I can get a bit steak's the classic, isn't it? But I think I get sick of it after a while. So what's something that you're not going to get bored of? I suppose
the whole animal. You're choosing the whole animal. So
it's not one type of
okay, an animal.
Yeah.
Can I choose animals that? I mean, it's a bit confusing. Like there's animals that you can eat, I suppose, that we've not tried as well. I don't
you can try whale if you want. They're endangered. No one's going to judge you. Or panda, go for it.
Like crocodile. I don't know. Crocodile meat. What does that taste like? Is that like? I've heard it's like chicken.
Between fish and chicken.
Again, if you're choosing it, that's what you're eating forever.
I wouldn't take a punt on one I've never tried before.
Exactly right. You might hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go back then. I'm gonna have to go cows. I'm gonna have to be boring then. If that's
They're delicious. No, that's not boring. They're a fantastic animal.
Yes.
Yeah. Tony, tea/coffee.
Yeah, we're going to add the third branch to this one as well. So,
hot chocolate. Thanks, Cindy.
Yeah. So you basically got to choose a swim lane. So if you were presented with a hot beverage, would you choose coffee, tea, or chocolate?
Coffee. Yeah, it's got to be coffee. I drink far too much as it is, to be fair. Excellent. I don't know if you find this, but it's worse when you get ill. I think when you drink a lot of coffee, when you get ill, all of a sudden you don't want to drink coffee. Yes. And then it just exasperates the problem, banging headache, up all night. So that's the downside of coffee. But I think with what I do, I need it throughout the day. So it's got to be coffee.
How many coffees this is an interesting, different arm to this. I'll ask you the actual question in a minute, but how many coffees is too many? How many do you drink on average a day?
So it was part of my New Year's resolution. I cut down. I tried to do 2 a day. So I was up to 6. I was up to 6 coffees, and it was not good. So 2 really good coffees. So get rid of the
no granules.
None
of that. Yeah,
it's got to be good stuff.
Yeah. So the coffee arm to this question is if you are, if we can all kind of agree that, as you've just described, a really good coffee, your local artisanal, single source, fair trade is like, that's the A game, right? Imagine that didn't exist, and we were just in a world where you could only choose from like the big chains, and you had full range of choice. Which chain would you go to get your coffee from, and which one would you avoid like the plague?
Oh, chain. Well, the main two are obviously Starbucks, Costa. It's out of them two. I think it'd probably be the one that's most convenient to on the way to work. So it's going to have to be Costa for me because Starbucks is a bit out of the way. So whichever's the closest and I can get hold of coffee the quickest, I think that's going to determine it.
Another one for you, Dale.
This debate started between me and Tony. I can't remember how or why, but Tony's a Starbucks guy because of the milk to water ratio, and I'm a black coffee drinker, and I think Costa coffee of all the chains is like the best flavor. It's not amazing, but it's okay. You know what you're gonna get. But Tony doesn't like Costa because they get the milk size wrong. So
flat white is a size, and the flat white at Costa is not the right size.
I mean, right behind me, my coffee maker's behind me, so that's my default is to go there and make sure it's as I want it. But yeah, if I've got to go to places, then you get what you're given, don't you? So,
and not that I'm keeping score. I kind of am. More people say Costa than Starbucks.
They do quite a lot more.
They do like way more. It's great.
Surprised me, yeah.
I went to Watch House Coffee in London. I think they've got 25 coffee houses in London, and a couple in New York. Right, for the first time yesterday, I had a double espresso and a cappuccino. Cost me about £8 to £9, which isn't too bad for London coffee. It was fantastic, honestly. Really good coffee. The flavor was amazing. I'm becoming more of a snob whereby I have espressos because I want the full flavor of the coffee, and it was delicious. I recommend it. If you're out and about in London, you've got the time, Watch House Coffee. Watch House Coffee.
Okay.
Watch House. Like really good. And they sell beans as well.
We always resisted the so like we would just buy not particularly great coffee because my theory is that like you get used to whatever it is that you drink, right? And it sort of trends back to passable. So therefore buying cheaper coffee was a good thing to do because then you're not spending a fortune on it. But what really happens is that you do that and then you drink coffee out much more, I think. So you end up spending more on it. So we have my wife and I went and did a course at Origin Coffee, and they show you how to use the machines and stuff, which was kind of bittersweet because whilst it was fascinating to learn about like over extraction and under extraction and how the milk works and like what the right weight to time ratio is for, and the what I thought was complete nonsense but proven in the session was that the temperature of the machine makes quite a big difference to fascinating details and nerding out on coffee. The heartbreaking thing was that when you get home and you realize that your portafilter is not like a commercial size one, and therefore you can't put the right amount of grams of powder into the machine to make it to the right ratio for the right time. So you kind of have to then still put up with some version of substandard deliverance. But we went and did that at Origin Coffee and subsequently subscribed to Origin Coffee, so we get like a bag of Origin Coffee that turns up every 3 to 4 weeks, and that stuff is very good. Very good. Nice. Yeah, I would highly recommend that.
Martin, you have been a fantastic guest. You're welcome back anytime. Before you head off, do you have any questions for Tony and I, or me and Tony? I don't know if that's good English or not.
No, not really. I don't think so. Yeah, I've come into this. Thanks, obviously, for having us and yeah, sharing the time and space. Really appreciate coming on. Really refreshing. Just asking, like chatting to normal guys, really. So yeah, appreciate your time. Really.
So in that case, before you go, I'll give two more minutes. One question from each of us. Again, for me, do you want a silly question or a serious question next?
Go for silly. Go on.
All right, if you could punch one fictional character in the face and get away with it with no judgment or repercussions, which fictional character you punch in the face?
Got to be Daffy, I think. Just
Daffy Duck.
Yeah, just used to annoy me. Like,
all right.
He still does. Every time I hear it. I know he's not there now, really. Not really in space, but yeah, definitely. First one, straight away.
Tony, final question to you, then I'll hit end stream. Let's go.
I don't have any more questions. That's it. We're done.